And finally, let's welcome the head coach of your UConn Huskies, 12-time national champion in his 40th season, Geno Auriemma.
The last 3 weeks, it's basically all it's been, right? The NCAA tournament's 3 weeks. You play 3 weekends, and you hope that in those 3 weekends you can create a lifetime of memories. But these 3 weeks are kind of a culmination of what happened in the total picture. What happened to these kids last year when they came up short, and what happened the year before when some of them couldn't play, and the year before that when some of them couldn't play, and the year before that when some of them couldn't play. We have guys here that have not played as many games as they have played. So this was all built up and all of that. That's what the last 3 weeks was all about, really. And all through those years, what was interesting was that section right there, I think. Where's our benches? Are our benches over there? That section right there, okay? Top to bottom, every single game, the greatest student section in America. And it hasn't been like that in a long time. And this year was special in that way, that we knew every game that we played here, guaranteed that spot was going to be filled, in addition to the rest of the building. And we played in front of sellout crowds the entire time we played here at the XL Center, and we could just feel the energy growing as the season went on. And by the time we arrived and the NCAA tournament was here, it was amped up even more. That first NCAA game felt like a national championship game. And the second game here, and by the time we got to Spokane, I think we were riding a wave that, involves all of you, all the people in Connecticut that were watching, that root for us. And I don't know that we thought in October or November that we're going to win the national championship. I know I didn't, and I know they didn't either. At least they didn't play like it, But something happened, and something changed. Something changed, and these last 3 weeks have been kind of magical, And people ask me and the coaches all the time, is this different than all the other ones? And they're all different. They're all different because they're all unique. They all involve different players and different stories that happen. This one's different because it's different freshmen that have never won one before. It's different seniors who wish they could go out as a champion their last game of their career, and they have. And it's all the guys in the middle that become champions, and they want to come back and do it again, which has been done here before. So. And this past weekend, we probably did something that only Connecticut can do, I read someplace where they said this was the largest or the second or third largest margin of victory ever in the Final Four by any team. The other two were also Connecticut teams. And if you could have been there last night after the game, And when we got back to the hotel, before they did what they did, whatever they did last night, and we're downstairs, we're in the patio area, and I looked around and I started counting, and all the former players that was there at one time sitting in a group like these guys, just hanging out, doing stuff you do after you're celebrating a win. I was watching, I was counting, and by the time I finished counting, let's see, there's Rebecca, she has one, and there's Jamel Elliott, she has one, and there's Jen Rosati, she has one, and there's Sue, she has two, and then there's Jessica Moore, she has three, and then there's Stewie and Tuck, and they have four each. So all the guys that only had one, they had to sit in the back of the bus. Most other places, if you win one national championship, they build a statue to you outside the building. Here, they won't even let you get to the front of the bus. So by the time I finished counting, I had counted, just sitting there, 27 national championships. And the reason I tell you that story is every one of these kids sitting behind me, they all want to come to Connecticut because they think that's going to happen to them. And every day they walk in our practice facility, they see up on the walls the names of all those players I was just talking about. And they see all the banners. They see all the national championship banners. Then they come here to play, and they see all the names. They see all the banners. And if you're not really strong, if you're not tough, if you're not really, really strong and tough, that wears on you, that every day you come to practice, every game you play, you have to live up to that standard. That is really, really, really hard to do. And it scares some kids, and it really breaks some kids. But then it also does the other thing. It inspires some kids. It inspires them to be that I want to be that. I want to do that. And the people ask me, why do you keep coaching? I keep coaching because I want them to feel right now what they feel, because every one of them did that. So, how many of you, those are students, how many of you are you're finishing your junior year? All right. How many of you are freshmen? Okay. Every moment that you have spent on campus so far, you have been living in the basketball capital of the world, and we just proved it again. And that's 3 years in a row now that Connecticut basketball rules the world. And next year we're going to make it 4.